If you haven't already, be sure to create your free Doug membership today by clicking on the Doug Hub tab in the left menu bar to access year-round community content, local meetups, and more. Closing the conference will be our next two speakers, Charlotte Gill and Norris. Today, they will be presenting 5 strategies you can implement in Business Central today to minimize late invoice payments and impro. Please stick around after Charlotte and Dean's session for a live Q&A.
We'll get started with some introductions. My name is Charlotte Gill and I'm the head of product at Chaser. I've spent 3 years researching and building solutions to help businesses get paid for their work on time. I've been focused on researching and developing AI-driven solutions to help businesses proactively tackle their debtor management problems. And I'd like to thank DynamicsCon for organising this event and giving us the opportunity to present today. And today I'm joined by Dean.
Hi there, my name is Norris. I'm the integrations engineer at Chaser. I have a background in software development and I have worked for Chaser for the past 4 years. My main area of expertise is understanding how businesses and accountants use different accounting systems so that I am able to engineer and build outstanding accounts receivables integrations. And I'd also like to thank DynamicsCon for this opportunity for us to share our knowledge with you today.
We'll refer to some extra templates, resources, and guides that can help to support you in reducing late payments throughout this presentation. We recommend scanning the QR code on the screen now to access them. And at the end of the session, we'll be running a Q&A session. So please add your questions to the chat throughout the presentation and we'll get to those at the end. Dean and I are joining you from Chaser. Chaser lets businesses use AI and automation to handle every step of their credit management process, all the way from credit checks to managing the debtor ledger and also debt collections. Chaser is designed to help businesses protect revenue and bring revenue in faster without requiring any time or effort. Essentially, we provide an end-to-end accounts receivable management software. We've worked alongside Business Central users to ensure that the Chaser system connects and synchronizes perfectly with the data in Business Central. And we've also helped Business Central customers reduce late payments without any manual work. We're a proud partner of the Dynamics user group community. You can see on the screen now how Chaser lets Business Central users use AI and automation to handle every step of the receivables process, apart from the credit decisions. Chaser has supported thousands of businesses around the world since 2014, and we've successfully helped them recover $39 billion in late payments automatically. We work to let businesses automate their processes without losing the human touch. And we also give the ability to personalize and make automated interactions look human, and this is all baked into the software. All this functionality is seamlessly integrated with the data in your Business Central account. And this ensures you're always working with the most up-to-date debtor information, and it can help you minimize the manual work. To learn more about it, visit chaserhq.com. So now that you know who we are and what we do, why should you care about late payments? In a dream world, all of your invoices would be paid on time, preferably before the due date. But unfortunately, as all of you attending this session today know, that's not usually the case. Whilst the average payment window for businesses in North America is 30 days, research shows that businesses are regularly waiting around 50 days or more to receive payment. And why does this matter? Cash flow matters for businesses of all sizes. Late payments can cause a chain reaction for suppliers, employees, and also other stakeholders. If you don't have the money coming in, you might not be able to pay your suppliers or invest in the growth of your business. Research shows that on average, businesses in North America are owed $300,000 in late payments, and 89% of finance leaders believe that late payments are impacting their business's ability to grow. We unfortunately only have 45 minutes today, but I hope that this short summary helps make it clear why having a system in place to help get invoices paid on time is so important. and why attending this webinar is a brilliant step forward in helping improve your business's financial position. The first strategy that I'm going to go through today is to encourage good payment behaviour. If your customers aren't paying on time, one method that you can implement in Business Central is something that we call at Chaser the carrot and stick approach. This encourages good payment behaviour by rewarding it with the likes of early payment discount and discourages late payments by using fees and penalties. If your business can afford it, early payment discounts are an effective method to incentivise early payments from customers. When it comes to calculating your early payment discount, there are two primary options that you can select: static or dynamic discounting. We recommend researching the best option for your business. When used strategically, early payment discounts can have a large positive impact on your business. Not only do they mean faster invoice payments, but they can also benefit your customer by offering them a discount and a reward for early payment. This cost is associated with early payment discounts can also be offset by late payment penalties if you decide to implement both the carrot and the stick. To add early payment discounts in Business Central, you can go to the Payment Terms Administration section in your Business Central account. Add your discount date calculation, and then you can select the percentage discount that you want to apply. If you are considering implementing late payment fees, notifying your clients in advance is a must. It's important that you're clear about the late payment fees that you will be charging. This can help to avoid any disputes or confusion further down the line. How much you charge in late payment fees will depend on the country in which your business operates. You can use the late fee calculator with an adjustable annual interest rate to calculate the late fees that you can charge your customer. The maximum statutory interest that you can charge on late payments depends on the state which your organisation is located in, so we recommend checking the local laws around this. However, a 10% interest rate per year is typically considered a reasonable charge in most states. Late payment fees on overdue invoices should be used to cover the costs and the time incurred for chasing late payments, and it's also an effective way to discourage and reduce late payments. To implement late fees in Business Central, it's possible to do this by going to Finance Charges in the Administration section of your Business Central account, and this will be under the Finance Charge Terms. Dynamics allows you to select from two types of finance charge calculations. Firstly, there's the average daily balance, which takes into account the days the payment has been overdue. Secondly, you can look at using the balance due, where the finance charge is a percentage of the overdue amount. I'll now hand over to Dean, who will go through the second strategy.
Thanks, Charlotte. So the second strategy is to onboard your customers effectively. And this starts right at the beginning of your accounts receivable process. And the way you onboard your customers is going to have a significant impact on your payment speeds and your DSO. So the first part of this onboarding process is going to be your credit policy. So firstly, to make sure you are minimizing your future chances of late payments from the very beginning of your credit management process. And we recommend optimizing or implementing a credit control policy. So your credit control policy is a set of regulations which is going to govern how you trade on credit terms. It lets your customers know your payment terms, and it also is going to act as a guideline for your staff so that people don't just give out credit to who they feel comfortable with. Have some guidelines in place so that there's no subjectivity. So this means the way you deal with AR is going to become more streamlined and cohesive across the business. And if you don't have a credit control policy yet, our experts have actually created a credit control policy template, which you can use. At the end of the presentation, we'll show you the QR code, as Charlotte mentioned. We'll include that on that link. So the next step in your onboarding process for your customers is to do credit checks. Don't be shy about performing a credit check on prospective customers. This essentially is going to be your first line of defense when it comes to protecting your business from late payers and bad debts. So similar to like a personal credit report, the credit check is going to search your potential customers' credit history, payment behavior, and it's going to highlight any red flags. Once again, you're removing subjectivity out of it. You've got some objective facts to go by. We recommend that this is going to be a standard part of your due diligence when onboarding new customers. In fact, Chaser found that businesses who use credit checks get paid on average 5 those who don't. So just an interesting stat there as well, how it actually affects your DSO. So the next onboarding step you're gonna take is setting your credit limits. Make sure that you are offering appropriate amounts of credit to customers who are actually able and willing to make payments on time. This is essential. Credit limits will help make sure you don't put your business at risk by granting too much credit to clients who may not pay. And we have guidance as well on credit limits that we've provided also in that QR code link at the end of the presentation. That'll just help you kind of establish your business's risk level. So please do go ahead, check that out. It's incredibly helpful information. Inside of Business Central, you can actually set credit limits, and these can be adjusted. You can set a credit limit which lets you specify the maximum amount of credit to extend to your customers. If a credit limit is specified, it's going to be checked automatically when a user attempts to update a document or post an invoice, etc. If the credit limit's exceeded, a message is going to be displayed to the user, to one of your staff, and that is either going to be in the form of a warning or a prompt. That's an error that's actually going to stop them from proceeding. So credit limits can be configured within the accounts receivables parameter section of your Business Central account. Once enabled, you'll be able to set customer-specific credit limits. To do so, you go to Customers, Edit, enter your credit limit, and you'll be able to manually check credit limits on sales orders. So in sales orders, you can open an order and select check credit limit for a manual review. You can also configure your credit limit alert. So as I just mentioned, you can outside that to just be a warning, hey, you're going over, or it can actually be an error which will stop the process completely, as mentioned. So two very useful tools in setting some firm restrictions regarding extending credit within your organization and within Business Central. Contact information. This is another important part of your process. It's absolutely crucial that you have clean data to ensure a healthy accounts receivable process. You need to be collecting the right information from your customers before you start doing business. And this can also be outlined in your credit control policy. So you need to make sure that you are chasing the right person for payments, that you're getting the right accounts payable contact information up front. And with the correct information, you could be saving yourself upwards of two weeks worth of wasted payment follow-ups. We always recommend collecting contact details for at least 2 payment contacts up front. The regular payment contact, so this might be like a finance inbox or your first point of contact with the business. And an escalated recipient. So if you were dealing with a salesperson, or a purchasing person, if you're dealing with like a purchasing person, they provide you with their finance manager's email address, or their direct manager's email address. Basically, you need to have someone that you can escalate to. Just in case that original data becomes unresponsive. And you collect this information before you start doing business. Inside of Business Central, what we often see is companies using a generic email address in the contact section of the customer card. And this can sometimes be in the form of info@ or a sales@ address or a finance@ And that might be okay for your initial contact, but generally those kind of generic email addresses are shared by 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 or larger teams, and no one really takes individual responsibility. Some customers like to hide behind those generic emails to avoid their personal inboxes being flooded. I think we often all do that. So what we recommend is to make sure that you're gathering as much information as possible, including the individual point of contact at the organization. And we recommend that this is the person who's directly responsible for actually making the payment. In Microsoft Business Central, if you go into your customer card and you select near the contact name on the address and contact field area, you're able to actually add a customer card. So it's okay, you can have the generic email address, but make sure that you're adding customer cards for those contacts. That's going to be crucial, especially when you need to escalate. The next strategy is to be proactive and persistent. Taking the proactive approach, it will go a huge way in reducing late payments. In fact, in the 2022 late payment report, it showed that businesses that follow up with 90% or more of their invoices each month are more likely to be paid within a week of the invoice due date. We've recently done some analysis at Chaser, and we also found that the average number of follow-ups it takes to get paid is 2.6. So just sending one follow-up to customers based on what we've seen is not going to cut it. You need to be consistent. It's that proactive, persistent approach when trying to reduce your late payments. The next step is to be proactive. Your invoice is due from the day that it is issued. Giving a due date that's different from the day that it's issued, post the creation date, it's an extension of credit. So don't wait until it's past the due date to start chasing. Instead of contacting customers, instead of contacting customer only once the payment is late, notify your customers when their payment deadline is approaching and follow up then periodically. Even before an invoice is due, you can email your customer with all the necessary information for payment, requesting it as well. You can ask them to confirm that they've received the invoice. That's a classic one. You contact the customer, we're waiting on payment. Oh, we don't have the invoice. I mean, how many invoices do you have to send a customer? But be proactive. So yeah, ask them that they confirm that they've received it before they ask you. Ask if they are aware of anything that could potentially delay the payment. It's always good to get commitments from people. There's an example on screen how you can actually politely remind customers of their invoices before the due date, and then obviously maximize your chance of timely payments. If you want any follow-up templates like this, you can scan the QR code at the end of the presentation. We offer a Chaser excellent guide of 40 politely worded follow-up templates that'll help ensure a persistent but polite approach with your debtors. Really, really recommend. Do have a look at that. It's an incredibly popular resource that we provide everyone, really. With Business Central and systems that integrate with Business Central, you can chase your debtors automatically. So it's not going to be like this extra huge amount of manual work that you're going to have to be performing. And once again, this goes in part of just being proactive to have this automated to help you reduce your late payments. In Business Central, you can schedule reminders to your debtors before the invoice is due. You can do this by going to the reminders term section of your Business Central account. You can set reminder levels. So in reminder terms, you can select levels to define rules like grace periods, interest, and fees for each level. You can customize your reminder text and your emails. And you can add email attachment text for each level, include placeholders for autofill values like numbers and total amounts and invoice numbers, as I said. You can set up text in multiple languages as well as needed. And then you can go into your customer card pages, which I showed earlier, and you can link each customer to the relevant reminder terms. So really some helpful automation tools within Business Central. And I'll pass to you, Charlotte.
Thank you. I'll now go over our fourth strategy, which is to use multiple follow-up channels. Don't just stick to email reminders when trying to get your invoices paid. With the technology available today, you can send your debtors payment reminders via a number of different channels to reach them more effectively and to get your invoices paid sooner. Here are some examples of how different follow-up methods can complement your existing receivables process and help you reduce late payments. Did you know that the average open rate for an email is just 25%? However, for SMS and text messages, they have an open rate of 98%. By supplementing your email payment reminders in Business Central with SMS follow-up messages, you can reach customers on the go and increase your chances of getting a payment on time. The contact card data within your Business Central account can help you get the correct contact information and send reminders via SMS. So we'll always recommend making sure that you're saving mobile numbers to your contacts so that you can access this later when you need it. In fact, we've actually seen businesses who supplement their email chasing with SMS follow-ups get paid on average 7 days faster. Research shows that 90% of postal letters get opened. So you can ensure that debtors see your payment reminders and reduce late payments by also sending postal letters when invoices become due. Although letters are extremely effective, Chaser understands that writing and posting letters is extremely time-consuming. And this is why third-party providers like Chaser allow you to schedule automated and personal reminders via letter to your Business Central debtors. And you can do this at the dates and times that are chosen by you. You can increase the sense of urgency around payments with your debtors and ensure that you're getting paid on time by trying out postal letters in your follow-up process. Making payment reminder phone calls might seem like an obvious one, but 40% of businesses don't bother making phone calls to their debtors at all. In Chaser's own research, finance teams reported that they're often put off because phone calls can be uncomfortable and also time-consuming. So we have two solutions. Firstly, something that you can do right away, right now, is to check out the guidance from Chaser's accounts receivable experts on how to effectively plan for credit management phone calls. We've given 10 pre-made phone call scripts that cover every kind of payment follow-up conversation. You can download using the QR code that will be on the last slide in this presentation. And we also recommend using the contact cards within Business Central to assign a default point of contact against a customer. Secondly, based on this feedback from businesses around the world that phone calls are painful and time-consuming, Chaser has released the ability to automate your payment reminder phone calls to your Business Central debtors. This functionality is called AutoCall, and it uses text-to-speech technology and pulls in personalized data points from your Business Central account. And this means that you can send your debtors automatic and personalized reminders via phone calls or voicemails on the times and dates that are chosen by you. Businesses using this technology are getting paid around 20 days faster. You can actually test this out for free and see the results yourself for 10 days by taking out a free trial of Chaser. If you're serious about reducing late payments, simply sending email follow-ups and making the odd phone call won't cut it. If your business wants to protect and bring revenue in on time, consider using a combination of email reminders, postal letters, SMS to ensure that you're following up with your debtors over the phone. Just adding SMS and AutoCall follow-ups to your receivables process, you can get paid around 27 days faster on average. And just imagine what your business could do if you brought in all of your revenue 27 days faster.
So the fifth strategy is to do your due diligence on when integrating with a third party system. Business Central provides its users with an incredible opportunity to integrate with many different systems, which will help you like supercharge your business goals and your AR processes. But before taking action to tackle these late payments using a third party, you need to ensure that you have covered the following with your integration partner. So the first one is security. Generally, if you are using Business Central, you very likely have an IT team who is responsible for checking third-party provider policies, security policies. But just some top-level questions you can ask when you do go into like these calls with potential third-party providers is, do they have a privacy policy? What kind of data do they store and pull from Business Central? When they store the data, is it encrypted? Do they enforce two-factor authentication, which will obviously, protect you, your staff, your customers? These are just like a couple of industry standard requirements to just keep an eye out for. But as mentioned, though, if you do have an IT team, they very likely will have some form of security questionnaire that they'll want filled out by the provider before proceeding with the third party, with the solution. So if you are looking for a third-party integration with Business Central, one of the main things that I'd recommend when finding the right solution is to make sure that the provider has a direct integration with Business Central and that they aren't using some form of a middleman, like some kind of tool in between to retrieve the data for you from Business Central. So yeah, like literally when you speak to your integration providers, say to them or ask the question, do you have a direct integration with Business Central? And there's two reasons for this. The first one is support turnaround time. If you have an issue with the integration and you're wanting the solution quicker, if you are using an integration provider who uses a third party to connect to Business Central, it's very likely that it's going to be a delayed process because it's got to go to your support team, then it's got to go to the middleman or the tool that they're using for support first. So it's just increasing the lines and delaying the process when you do need help. The other important aspect of having someone who's got a direct integration with Business Central, having a solution with a direct integration with Business Central, is knowledge. And in most cases, a direct integration provider will likely have deeper exposure and understanding to how accountants are using Business Central. They've had to do the spade work to get the right data from Business Central. They understand the different collections and ledger entries and that kind of thing from Business Central. And that's going to be crucial to ensuring that the data points, the correct data points are being called, and that your accounts in whatever tool you are using, if it is an accounts receivable tool, to make sure that those accounts are balancing correctly. To you, Charlotte.
Thanks, Dean. So in summary, the 5 strategies that you can implement today to minimize late invoice payments are, firstly, to use a carrot and stick approach to encourage good behavior or dissuade debtors from paying late in Business Central, to onboard your customers effectively and use credit limits and the business card functionality within Business Central to help you do so. We recommend that you be proactive and persistent and use payment reminder scheduling functionality in Business Central to help you do so. We also spoke about using multiple follow-up channels like SMS, phone calls, and also postal letters to help your business get paid 27 days or more faster. You can utilize the contact card data in your Business Central account to do this manually, or you can consider third parties which can help you automate these follow-ups. And last but not least, if you do explore third parties to support your credit management processes, do your due diligence. I'd just like to say thank you so much for joining the session, and we'll see you for the Q&A shortly.